in this presentation part, like I will be talking for new starters. Let's say you started your career in IT. So what you should do to improve yourself, or what you should be the like more careful for new starters, that you can survive in your company, right? You can learn, you can improve, can maybe like the good fit for the company, and then they will be like paying maybe more. Also, they will be treating you better when you start, right? So I guess like when I started working my career in Walgreens, so it was not that much easy in Walgreens, but I learned a lot. I mean, I all the time know that like the challenges, new things is helping me to improve myself. I learned a lot. I see a lot of things actually in Walgreens that improve myself in IT career, right? And then after that, like my experiences in Walgreens, I was thinking that like it doesn't matter. I can work in any company in the United States. So why? Because I see how the people are working, and then how the people are improving themselves, how the people are communicating with each other, and then solving the problems, a lot of things. I will try to give you advices from that point, right? Tips for new starters. The first of all, guys, for new starters, and we try to learn our work environment. The work environment, it means that like how the people are working, right? Which person is doing what? And then I can ask question like, okay, if you have any question, whom you're supposed to ask that question, who's answering, who is not answering, and who's like most knowledgeable person in my team, and who's following me. Like try to basically in your first week or second week as well, try to learn more about your work environment. Try to understand who is doing what, okay? Who is doing what? Try to understand in the first couple of weeks. This is one of the steps that I guess we should be very carefully try to learn and improve ourselves related with work environment. Why? Because when you have some problem, when you have like the questions, you know at that time like whom you're supposed to ask it, right? When you start, when you learn more about your work environment. Another thing, spend time with other employees. Like spending a time with other employees, it is another thing, because why? You just joined to this company, right? So you're a new starter, you're fresh in that company. So people used to work, people knows the application, people knows what they are doing in the company, right? So because of that, if you spend time with them, they will tell you a lot of information. They will tell you many things related with the company, related with the product, project, so whatever, right? So when you spend more time with them, communicate, ask the question, so it will be helpful a lot like when you start, right? This is some of the initial steps that we need to follow when we start working in the company. Listen to KT sessions carefully. KT sessions, if you don't know, guys, it is knowledge transfer, right? When you start working in the company, what happens? They transfer all the knowledges related with the projects to you. They explain, hey, last 2 years or last 1 year, we started working on this PMA, patient management application. In this patient management application, we have hospitals, under hospital we have patients, so we need to store the patient information, everything, right? They explain you the architecture of the application. They explain like who's doing what is their project, the project, what's the purpose of this project, how long was it, how do you create like the basically bugs, stories, test cases, and how they handle the process. Everything they will explain, and they will give you the KT sessions. So one thing, guys, during the KT sessions, you should listen them carefully. Okay, you should listen them carefully and understand what they are telling to you. If you don't if you're not able to understand, right, what they are telling to you, you should definitely ask the follow-up question, because they will stop, they will pause, and then they will say that, hey, like if you have any question, let me know. At that time, if something not clear for you, please and please, guys, ask the question. Let's say question, it can be, hey, I didn't understand this part specifically, or like you can ask that in this patient management application or the under patient, what kind of information I supposed to store? This one might be the one of the question. Or, right, you can ask this one like, hey, I didn't actually understand what you are telling to me. can you please repeat one more time? This one can be also another thing, guys. If you didn't understand the whole part, just tell them to recap for you one more time and explain you, repeat the same thing again. Just ask them to repeat, ask them specific questions to learn and improve yourself. This is, I put under everything, I put, guys, this one as a number one, because some companies, what they do, in the first 2 weeks, they do the KT session to you, right? They explain the projects to you. And after 2 weeks, they tell you that, hey, can you please, like, whatever you understand from the KT sessions, maybe during these 5 weeks, and they will do each week the 5 KT sessions. They will, at the end of these 2 weeks, they will ask you to summarize it. This is, I guess, number one thing during the KT sessions, KT. So this is knowledge transfer, okay? Knowledge transfer. So they will transfer their knowledge about the application to you. So, okay. Another thing is when you ask them, like, hey, can I record this knowledge transfer session? Most of the time, they will not allow you. But I mean, I guess you can find some solution for that, like use your phone to record the KT sessions. Specifically for the people who is starting their IT career new, it might be difficult to understand because they will be using sometimes their own terminologies, right? Let's say when I start in one of the company, they were telling that, hey, we have a 4 application, like 4 product. One of them is called LSMC, CCMC, EMC. Like I was saying, what is LSMC? Or they didn't show me what's LSMC. I don't know. Like I didn't learn it in any places. I was like trying to search in internet what's LSMC or what's CCMC. You will not be able to find because this is internal, guys. Internal, the abbreviation. So the only company knows like what's that. When you hear this kind of things, right? When you hear the words that you don't know, you are not familiar, and you can definitely ask them, hey, what is this? What's that? Right? What's LSMC? What's CCMC? Do not think in your mind, like sometimes for the people, hey, like since I don't have an experience, I don't know this one. If I have an experience, I'm supposed to know. Do not think that, but in your mind, there will be this actually idea all the time, but do not think that way. If you don't know, you don't know, right? If you don't know, you don't know, ask it. What is this? What's that? Because it is internal terminologies that they have. So if you can record these KT sessions, voice record or something, you can like maybe you can listen them after the session as well, like at home or something. You can just basically listen one more time. First, specifically first 2 weeks, it is something it is important that you should do. Make good first impression. This first impression is very important. How we can actually make good first impression? Being an active. You should be an active, ask the question and all the time, attend the meetings on time, talk if it is necessary, or like during the sessions, during the meetings, and be an active. So it is going to be the good impression, guys. It's a first impression, it's important. If you just go to your job, you started like you're going to the office. If you are going to the office, start your job and just sit your desk, do not talk to anyone else. It's not a good impression. So because they expect something from you, and they expect anyway, if you don't know anything, right, they expect to talk, to expect to communicate, and all those things they expect all the time from you. This is very important. In one of the company when I joined, what happened? I joined in my first week. I guess it was my second day or something, and then I had another offer. I rejected that offer because of this company. I started working in that company. Like in second day, my manager called me, and then like he was saying that, hey, David, you know what? So we expect from you to do good. We expect from you to like do automation for our application, and we expect you to like to show yourself. Like I was saying in my mind, what he means. Like I just start, like this is my second day. Like why he's doing this speech to me? As I was afraid, to be honest. And in the beginning, I said, okay, really? Like in my mind, I was talking and I said that, okay, I should then call the other second offer that I got. I'm gonna accept your offer. I did actually. I told them, I called them back, and then I told them that, hey, I'm gonna accept your offer. Everything, they started background check or something. In these 2 weeks in background check, I tried to observe what's going in the company, and I realized after 2 weeks, I realized that I guess like it was general conversation my manager was doing with me. I was able to do some impression and then for them in first, I guess, couple of weeks. After 2 weeks, they offered me the full-time position. It was contract in the beginning. They offered me full-time, and then I started like working full-time with them. So then I called them back, the other second offer, and then rejected again. I reject them again. I guess those are the important, making a good impression in couple weeks, couple days. It's good. How you can do it? Communication, asking the question, being inactive. Specifically for KT sessions, right? Knowledge transfer, and you can take a notes when you attend the meetings. So you can also take the notes, right? What's going on, who's talking what, and what kind of keywords they are using. You can all the time ask them, like, or take the notes related with those, right? This is another thing. Ask for help. This is one of the number one thing, asking for help. Why it is number one thing? I know a couple example. One of the example, it happened to our student. So one of our students, she got an offer from the company, and then she asked, what is the bad impression for new employees in your company? So she asked this question to the manager once she got an offer. Manager told that not asking the question, it is bad sign for new employees. Not asking question, not asking help, it is like those are bad sign for specifically new employees, new starters. Okay, you'll learn something from the course, you will start in the company, but the company environment is different, correct? To be honest, for me, I'm playing in soccer. When I switch to my field in soccer, I have a difficulties to get adjusted for this soccer field. So you start in new company, new, everything is new environment. You have never been in this kind of environment previously. So definitely like you will not be very confident when you start like working in the company first. So it depends on the person. It takes up to 6 months to 1 year for the person who is starting their IT career in the company to get used to the environment and to get used to product and then to be more confident in their fields. So how we can overcome, how we will be able to survive in this 1 year while working in the company. One thing, guys, knowledge transfer is important. Second thing is asking a question. If you don't know, ask it. If you cannot do it, if you're not able to do task, ask it. Ask help. So it doesn't matter. You ask now. If you have another question after 1 hour, just ask one more time. If you have another question like another time, ask one more time. So like to be able to not disturb the people in your environment. So you can also like go and ask the different people, right? So maybe this time you ask the David, next time ask the Marcus, third time ask the Samir. So you can ask all the time different person in your team. So to be able to solve your issue if you have more than one question. Another thing is you will actually, when you join the company, first step, right? When you start understanding your environment, working environment, you will see actually from that working environment who is more helpful in your team, right? You will see that person. You will find it actually. When you find that the person who is going to be helping you, just continue to bother them, okay? So they will definitely be willing to helpful because so that person is helpful already, right? And helping the people. So will help you as well. So instead of like, right, and then asking the people who's outside of the company, your friend maybe like working in X company or working in Chase Bank, you are working in Walgreens, like why you are asking your questions to your friend who's working in Chase? Because that person doesn't know your application. That person doesn't know that which tool you are using, doesn't know your working environment. Your friend will spend maybe 5 hours to solve your problem. But when you ask your like coworker in your company, that person will spend only 5 minutes to solve your problem. Because why? Your coworker is more confident. Your coworker is more like who's working more in your company. It's kind of, let's say I used to drive a lot of times the BMW, right? I'm very confident. Maybe I am 20 years I was driving a BMW. And I have another friend who is basically who has a let's say Honda, and then my friend is asking a question to me, or I am asking to my friend, hey, look at my BMW has some electricity problem. Can you please take a look at? I mean, my friend who's using Honda doesn't know like how the BMW is working, even though he is very good in this electricity, like something like that, right? So we need to find some person who's specialist for this field and then ask the help. And then we need to know that who we are asking the help. And this is another thing. So another example, guys, recently I hear like at the same time, if you are spending more than 30 minutes for one task, they give it to you, you couldn't solve it more than 30 minutes, you should ask this question, right? You are running your automation script, it is not working. Your automation script is failing in some point. You spend 30 minutes, so then you should ask. Definitely do not do that one. Like, do not go to your coworker right away without searching by yourself. Just search by yourself for 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. If you cannot solve it, ask the question. But do not spend 3 hours or 5 hours to just solve by yourself. It will be a lot pain for you guys. It will be putting you in stress, and then do not do it at home. I also know that some companies, when they start, what they do, like they give you a task, they know already you will not be able to do this task because you're not familiar. They expect from you to ask the question, okay? They expect from you to come to them and then ask the question how we will be able to solve it. So another thing, what we have, practice good time management. Specifically when you start the first career, it might be a little bit stressful. To be able to avoid this kind of the stress, we need to practice our good time management. We should like separate our times when we are going to be learning, when we are going to be start doing some tasks and projects, and when we should ask the questions. So you should basically manage your time in working environment, specifically in the beginning, until you get used to. When you get used to, guys, so there is no problem with that. Like you will be definitely able to finish your task even way before than your deadline. Okay, so but until you get used to, it will take time. Because let's say now I have a more than 5 years of experience in IT. So in this case, let's say if you are able to do, like for new starters or for someone who just graduated from the school, right? If you are able to do same task in 3 hours, maybe I will do in 30 minutes, right? Whatever the task that you are doing. Because of that, specifically in the beginning, time management is important. You should like know how to manage it. Also, after even starting your IT career, and it's not at the end of the work, it's not at the end of the implementation or anything in the company. We should keep continue to learn new tools, learn the tools that the company is using, learn the new tools that is popular on the market. It will help you a lot to understand the bigger concept, right? At the same time, if someone needs and help, so you should all the time offer them help, follow the timelines, following the timelines for the projects, for the tasks that you have. It is last one, I guess I have to mention in here. So we should be finishing all those things on time. And another thing I want to like just mention that I had a mistake about that and how we can solve it. Let's say today we had a daily stand-up meeting in the morning, right? And I didn't have any issue. I started working in my project, and then I faced some issue at 12 p.m. Today, at 12 p.m., I faced one issue. So then I couldn't like basically continue to do anything. Next day morning, when like they were asking to me like, hey, what did you do yesterday? I was saying that, hey, I started to work on this story, but there was a one blocker. I couldn't fix it. That's why I couldn't do anything. So my Scrum Master was saying that, okay, did you send an email to me? I said like, no, I didn't send it. I was just waiting for next day meeting, right? And to be able to mention, hey, look at, I couldn't solve it. So my manager, like my Scrum Master was telling me that, hey, like you should inform us, right? And when you have an issue, guys, when you have a problem, blocker, do not wait for next day to inform your team. Just inform right away. Maybe, let's say in your project, one of the things is not working and you couldn't do your implementation. So you can just like send a message, okay? Send a message to the person that you know who might be helpful to you, or your manager. Okay, if you don't know who might be helpful for you, just send a message to your manager or Scrum Master. I don't know like who will be your responsible for person in your team for that kind of issues. You will understand from the first step, right? From learning the work environment will give you an idea. So who you will be able to ask the questions. So let's say you ask them help. So you maybe use the Teams, Microsoft Teams, to send a message. And then when you ask help, no one answered it. Second step, guys, if no one answered your question, second step, send an email, not just only message, send an email. And then also add this email conversation to your manager as well. Okay. So add your manager into the email conversation and say that, hey, I have an issue. I texted to David. I'm waiting answer from the David until this issue is fixed, and I will not be able to finish my task. These kind of things, guys. Email communication in IT, in actually corporate life, it is very important. So just follow up with the emails as well. Okay, send an email, send the text message. If they're not answering you in 30 minutes, send an email, including your manager as well. Okay, in this email conversation. Still, there is not the answer or something. If you are working in person, just go to their desk and then ask the question to them. Just go to their desk. If you are working on campus, like in office. If you're not working in office, I guess just try to call them, at least to be able to get the answer back, right? And you can just go and follow up from that point. I guess from this, summarizing this all points, there are one thing, you should understand your work environment and who is doing what, you should understand. Listen carefully to KT sessions, knowledge transfer sessions. Asking the questions, it is third thing. And then when you have a blockers, follow up with these blockers. I guess the fourth thing, it is very important. Learn environment, listen carefully to knowledge transfers, ask help, ask questions, and then follow the timeline, follow up with the people for your blockers. Do not wait for next day, because their expectation from you to finish it as soon as possible. Do not leave today's jobs to tomorrow. Just finish it today. Thank you, guys. I hope it was helpful. Have a great day.